The world of professional sports is not built on unity or solidarity. It is highly competitive and driven by financial realities. In this environment, an individual's value is ultimately determined by their market impact. Athletes either generate revenue and attention, or they depend on others who do. For many years, the Women's National Basketball Association operated at a financial loss and relied heavily on support from the National Basketball Association. Despite this, some veteran players developed a strong sense of entitlement, believing they had a larger global influence than reflected in the league's actual popularity. The situation began to shift dramatically with the arrival of Caitlin Clark, whose performances attracted record-breaking viewership and significantly increased public interest in women's basketball. According to this perspective, instead of embracing this growth, some players attempted to assert greater control during negotiations. Currently, the WNBA Players Association is in discussions with league owners and has raised demands such as higher salaries, improved benefits, and a larger share of league revenue. There is also the possibility of a strike affecting the 2026 season if agreements are not reached. Some veteran players believe that the surge of new fans supports the union's position and strengthens their bargaining power. However, this argument is challenged by the growing perception that much of the new attention is centered specifically around Caitlin Clark. Clark's recent participation in United States women's national basketball team training activities has further highlighted her individual influence. Without engaging in public disputes, she has reinforced the idea that she is currently one of the most impactful and marketable figures in the sport. This situation reflects a broader shift in influence within women's basketball, where individual star power, particularly that of Caitlin Clark, plays a major role in shaping the league's future direction and negotiations.
They're kind of doing some drills here. Let's see them cook up for a little bit. Chelsea, no look. Caitlin, side dribble. Main thing is they're enjoying themselves, man. I love it. Okay, Angel to Stu, easy work. It seems like Caitlin is hanging with Kelsey a lot. Paige always yelling. Paige yelling about anything these days.
The atmosphere inside the gym reflects excitement and genuine enjoyment. Players are smiling, competing, and supporting each other without any visible tension. Athletes like Caitlin Clark and Breanna Stewart, along with other emerging American stars, appear energized and united as they train with United States women's national basketball team. They are embracing their peak performance years while showing a clear passion for the game. In contrast, the ongoing disputes within the Women's National Basketball Association present a very different atmosphere. Negotiations between players and management have created visible tension, with disagreements over compensation, benefits, and working conditions. Leadership within the WNBA Players Association has been actively voicing concerns, aiming to highlight what they see as inequities within the system. This has contributed to a media narrative focused on conflict, frustration, and the possibility of a work stoppage. Reports of internal disagreements, including communications shared with outlets like ESPN, suggest that not all members are aligned on strategy. Against this backdrop, Caitlin Clark's presence in Team USA activities sends a different message. By focusing on performance and maintaining a positive public image, she reinforces her appeal to sponsors, broadcasters, and league stakeholders. Her approach emphasizes stability, professionalism, and star power, positioning her as one of the most marketable figures in the sport today. Overall, this contrast highlights two competing narratives, one centered on labor rights and structural change, and the other on individual influence, growth, and global appeal within women's basketball. This perspective argues that the challenges within women's basketball are not entirely systemic, but are instead being amplified by a smaller group of veteran players concerned about losing influence over the league's culture and direction. According to this view, leadership within the WNBA Players Association attempted to position Caitlin Clark at the center of ongoing labor negotiations, expecting her popularity to strengthen their leverage. However, Clark has largely remained separate from these disputes, instead focusing on her performance and opportunities on the international stage. From a business standpoint, The argument emphasizes that negotiating power depends on proven market value. League veterans believed they could attract audiences independently, but efforts to test this assumption, such as the creation of alternative competitions like the unrivaled 3-on-3 League, did not achieve the expected level of viewership or financial success. Broadcast partners, including networks like TNT, had anticipated strong engagement but were reportedly disappointed by the results. Additionally, concerns were raised when key players such as Aaliyah Boston suffered injuries during these events, highlighting potential risks tied to such ventures. Overall, this viewpoint concludes that these experiments demonstrated the difficulty of generating widespread audience interest without major star power. In contrast, Caitlin Clark's presence continues to draw significant attention, reinforcing her importance to the sport's current growth and commercial appeal.
Floor. Mind you, look at the teams while y'all looking too. Look, Angel knocking them down, dog. I know it's quick. Caitlin with the game winner. Caitlin with the game winner, dog. Got the stun on him. Come on, man.
Caitlin Clark's talent and marketability are at the center of the current conversation about women's basketball. Moments like game-winning shots illustrate the kind of generational skill that drives fan engagement, justifies major television contracts, and commands attention in the global sports economy. League owners, including Adam Silver, Kathy Engelbert, Joe Tsai, and Matt Ishbia, recognize that Clark represents far more than a player. She is a primary asset with immense leverage. Her viral performances and ability to attract audiences translate directly into market value for the league. If the WNBA Players Association proceeds with a strike or threatens the 2026 season, the owners are unlikely to concede because their primary concern is protecting the league's key asset, Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, veteran players face significant financial risk. A delayed or canceled season would mean lost salaries, diminished relevance, and potential defaults on contracts or benefits they are currently demanding. Clark, on the other hand, is insulated from this turmoil. Should the WNBA face shutdowns, she can pivot her massive, loyal audience to international competitions such as the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, which are broadcast by TNT Sports. This network previously abandoned the unrivaled league, but strategically invested in international rights specifically to showcase Caitlin Clark. In this scenario, the union's bargaining position is extremely weak. Without Clark, their product has little market value, and their attempts to leverage the threat of a strike against billionaire owners are largely ineffective. The current WNBA labor tensions reflect a deeper dynamic than simply negotiating better contracts. According to this perspective, the veteran leadership within the WNBA Players Association is not primarily focused on improving conditions for younger or working-class players, most of whom are eager to secure deals and are currently waiting to sign contracts. Instead, the strike is framed as a strategy by long-established players to preserve influence in the league. For decades, veteran players controlled the culture, hierarchy, and media narratives of the WNBA. Their dominance relied on a relatively small, established audience and strict adherence to unwritten rules. The arrival of Caitlin Clark disrupted that system. She has broken viewership records, attracted millions of new fans, and secured major endorsements from brands such as Nike and Gatorade, effectively redefining the league's cultural and economic landscape. This sudden shift has created resentment among veteran leaders who now see their influence threatened. The argument is that the proposed strike is less about improving conditions for all players and more about attempting to halt Clark's momentum and assert control over the league's narrative. A strike would temporarily silence the attention Clark has brought to the sport, disrupt new fan engagement, and threaten the league's financial stability. However, Clark's approach, focusing on her performance, professionalism, and market value, has allowed her to remain largely unaffected by these internal conflicts. By maintaining her focus on basketball and global opportunities, she has effectively countered the union's strategy without public confrontation, demonstrating her independence and influence within the sport.
It's special for you. Man, I think, this is every kid's dream. I think I wrote it down when I was in third grade. So just excited about this opportunity. And I remember Kara Cowan talking to us when me and Paige and I know AB isn't here, but even I played with Ryan on the U19 team. Like on the junior national teams, there's only going to be like a couple of you that end up making it to make a senior debut. So whether that's the World Cup, whether the World Cup qualifier, whether that's, you know, the Olympics, every single part of it and part of the journey is really special. So I know we're a ways away even from the World Cup and obviously a ways away from the Olympics, but this is still really exciting in itself and kind of the...
Caitlin Clark's public professionalism and humility on the international stage contrasts sharply with the WNBA veteran's bitter, chaotic labor disputes. By focusing on her performance with Team USA, she bypasses the union's politics, expands her global brand, and proves her market value. Meanwhile, veteran leaders risk alienating fans, sabotaging the league, and undermining their own financial positions. Clark remains the sport's most powerful asset, showing that influence and revenue, not seniority or entitlement, drive modern professional basketball.